My friend, welcome! Today we don't have, per se, our weekly bass lesson. However, I want to go through and I want to talk about something we touched on last week so you can continue it during this week. We will reconvene next week and play out some stuff together when Paul, our student, and I, Wago, your teacher, are here. However, I just don't want to leave you hanging for this week. If you depend on this channel, I'll do a little something. So, you can make sure you're in tune or not. The idea of this doesn't even need an amplifier. In fact, the people around you would probably prefer you don't. We're going to be working on another idea that stems with the idea of popping. So when we're going down on a note, we're popping with the bottom part of our thumb right here, and we're making connection until you get that nice and... If you hold it down and don't let it go, it will be a legato note. The idea that I'm popping it and you're hearing it just... I'm taking my finger and pulling back just a little bit so it's still touching the string, but it's not pressing down on the actual fret. By the way, if you're not playing in the middle and you're actually playing on the metal, that's only reserved for fretless basses, which have the marking to get a actual into note. For us with frets, we don't play on the fret. We play, or the fretting rather, we play on the fret itself, the gap in between the two. So one of the concepts we have, why not find the 7th fret on whatever your highest string is, and then take your first finger, put it underneath the string as if you're pulling up and holding your bass like this. Not always the best idea to do this because it puts unneeded tension, but for purpose of demonstration, faux show! If I were to pick up my bass and hold it like that and let go, that's exactly what you're looking for when you're going to go for that pop. You're actually pulling it out almost like the size of your thumb. Don't go crazy and rip your strings off, but do get a little poppiness. Try and get each note on your instrument to make a nice sound. If you get something like you're not playing in the middle and you're not pressing down hard enough, okay? So what we do is when we're playing octaves, when you go from one string, skip a string, go over to the next string and up 2 frets, which is a whole step or 2 minor seconds, it would look like this. If we put our first finger randomly on the 3rd fret on, let's say, I've got 5 strings, you should have 4, but if you have 5 strings, it's also going to be the same name string. It's going to be the A string. So the A, B flat, B, C. When we play our C here, we're going to skip the next string, which is the D string, and go all the way up to the G string, which is the last string on my bass, probably yours too. And then with my pinky or my 3rd finger, I got tiny fingers, so I use my pinky, but you're, you can go 1 to 3 finger here. They're both C notes. Low C, high C. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work that all the way up the fret until we get to its octave, which is weird because we're going to right here, which is pretty high up on the fretboard. That's at what, 15th fret. So when we get up here, we're gonna have this note, skip a string, and then the pinky or the 3rd finger is going to be playing that octave note. What we're going to be doing on the right hand is going to be looking like this. Let me bring it in. All right, so what we're going to be doing on the left hand, bear in mind we're doing the C, C, C sharp, D, D, D sharp, D sharp, all the way up. Our hand is going to be doing one of these numbers, meow. So the hand, quite literally, is going to pop the C, and then underneath is going to grab that top C. And if you notice, the only string that really vibrates is the D string. That's because when I pop the C note on the A string, my finger quite literally goes through the string to get the sound and lands like a bird falling off of a telephone wire onto the next string. That's why it has that movement. So this week, practice going down into the note and then popping out its octave. And I know I make it look a little easy, and I know it's hard to get that sound, but believe me, if you spend 1 hour trying to do this, you eventually will get at least 20, 50, 100 of these to sound passable. What we're looking for is the repetition. Once you start clocking hours, that's when it starts making sense. From that concept, we add on ideas like put in different notes and different scales. So what we do as bassists, we're going to be looking forward to this channel to define what we do as bassists. From the previous videos, I won't make this too long, by the way. From the previous videos, we went through the concept of just knowing what the strings are. This is a 5-string, so it's a B for me. I tune into that. You could also turn it to a C, which is really cool. The bottom string on most basses, a 4-string is going to be like a E, A, D, and a G being your top note. If you have a 5-string and you tune the lowest note to an E, and then you have the top string as anything other than a G, I'd be interested to hear your opinions on what that sound like. I've never done that with any of my 5 strings. So long story short, put that in the comment section if you like. If you like what goes on this channel, please subscribe. Otherwise, tune back in next Monday around, 2:05, something like that, for a free weekly bass lesson. And if you're just starting off with bass here, maybe check out these lessons amongst all the other videos on this here YouTube. Aloha.